Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. Say hello, Ben.
Hello, it's me, Ben, everybody.
Woohoo. We're doing this. It's not an emergency episode, but it's basically, there's some things that we need to talk about. Yeah, we're not back fully in season yet, but we got to talk about Armie Hammer. We got to talk about Promising Young Woman, this new awesome movie that has just come out.
Watched it. We just watched it.
I watched it twice.
Yeah, I watched it 1.5 times because then I had to go make breakfast.
Yeah, so good. Also, the inauguration happened.
Ooh, that was fun.
That was like a big collective sigh of relief.
Yep.
We're going to talk about all those things, and it's going to be great. There will be some spoilers for Promising Young Woman, so maybe watch it before you listen to this episode. Thanks to Dipsea for supporting How Come. Dipsea is an audio app full of short, sexy stories and guided sessions designed to turn you on and help you get in touch with yourself. Get a 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
I loved the inauguration. Or I don't even care about the ceremony. The ceremony was nice.
Ceremony was nice. I liked all the flags and the acknowledgement to all the people that have died because of COVID. And I liked
Amanda Gorman, the poet laureate.
Oh, the poet laureate.
She was amazing. My favorite part of her speech was sometimes what just isn't just is.
Yeah. You know what? I'm so stupid is when I was watching her speak, I wasn't aware that she was a poet.
You just thought it was a really good speech.
I was like, yo, this speech is lit and it rhymes.
I also missed that she was a poet before.
Yeah, and then I caught it about halfway through. I was like, oh, this is tight. But,
there's a reason why it's the best written thing ever.
Yeah, I thought it was at first just a really good speech that had a few things that rhymed in it. And I was like, I wonder if she did that on purpose.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was fantastic. I just loved that it was about so many different things besides just one person's show. Yep, Trump's a little bitch and he's gone.
Yeah, I keep saying he's like a bad abusive boyfriend that we've all been living with, and we finally survived him, but also kicked him out of the house. So let's give ourselves a little pat on the back for both of those things.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people cried on Inauguration Day or after Inauguration Day just because it's been 4 years of fucking trauma. We got to treat him like an abusive boyfriend. So block him. I know Donald's not online anymore, but block his whole family, his friends, anything that reminds you of him. Don't give him any power. Don't talk about him with your friends, and don't blame yourself if you start crying because of the trauma. It happened. It was 4 years.
Yeah.
I broke down in the car. I watched the whole inauguration. I was just having a nice time, and then it just hit me, and I started hysterically crying, and it was nice.
Yeah, it was a good release. But now the real work starts, baby.
Totally. Yeah. Biden's not perfect, and so now we can just pressure him to do stuff that we want. It's very exciting.
Very exciting. It's just it feels good to have a sane person at that. Joe Biden's not perfect.
No, we don't even like it.
No politician is, and no person is. Yeah. And I would have. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad Bernie's in there. I'm glad that he's fucking with Bernie, and that Bernie's going to be in charge of the budget.
There's a lot of politicians in there that he's fucking with now. That this was the perfect storm. I don't know if this cabinet would have been that way if Trump hadn't been so bad. If people hadn't realized that our morals are a little off. If Trump hadn't incited an insurrection at the Capitol, like what we saw on January 6th, which we haven't even talked about, but crazy, we don't even know if the vote would have gone through. Those Republicans who voted to count the votes might not have done so. They might have not have had the evidence required that he was a bad dude. Still.
Look at how diverse everything looks now, too. All the types of people he's appointing, women, people of color, trans woman.
It's great. It really is. And I would like to think that it is from just progress. But obviously, we are lighting a fire under them.
Under who?
Under Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah. Who, the people?
Yeah, the people are
I think holding politicians to like a higher standard now. They're like, all right, yeah, we got Trump out. Like people started complaining about Biden like right after the inauguration.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think everybody's going to, like, this is when everybody's got to really do their jobs.
Yeah.
And everybody is really paying attention now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely like keep working hard in the areas that you see need progress. So yeah, we're going to talk about Armie Hammer at the end of this episode because obviously there are a lot of his text messages going around revealing his abuse of over 200 women. We recorded an episode about this on Patreon like a week ago, me, Robin, and our friend Chandler, about his text messages and how they're different from BDSM. And then after we did that, EJ Dixon, who was our guest this season, wrote an amazing article for Rolling Stone, and it's called What We're All Missing About the Armie Hammer Scandal, Cannibalism Scandal. And it basically is like, this is not BDSM, this is abuse, and this is how we tell the difference, and fetishes are fine, but just saying abuse is a fetish to like hide it is not cool. Yeah, they're really bad. So maybe don't listen to the end of the episode if you're not feeling your best. And then if you can get through that and you want even more, go listen to the whole unedited thing on Patreon with me, Robin, and Chandler.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be at the end of the episode. And then also this movie, Promising Young Woman, trigger warning about this too. It is about rape and rape culture, and
Yeah, but it's so good.
it is so good.
Trigger warning, but it's so good. It's going to be, everybody's going to be talking about it, so get on board early.
Yeah.
It is must see viewing. They should show it in colleges. It's great.
Yeah.
Great across the board.
I would say watch it right now without seeing the trailer. I think it is like the movie of a generation, like the movie that responds to the Me Too movement and explains rape culture. Like if you've ever had to explain rape culture to anybody in your life, or like explain why something that happened to you was weird, or even if you like you've thought that word or like that phrase was like ridiculous, like watch this movie because it will make you understand a lot more things.
Yeah, everybody needs to see it.
Promising Young Woman.
Promising Young Woman.
You can get it if you're in the US, you can get it on YouTube. I think other countries can too, but I know some cannot. One of the companions wrote me from Norway. She said it's not available on YouTube there. Had you seen the trailer before we saw it?
Yes.
Okay. I hadn't.
Yes. And I tried to, I almost even was like explaining the trailer
And
to
I was
you,
like,
and
do
you were
not
like,
do
"Don't."
that. No.
Yeah, but seeing the trailer's good too. Like, watch the trailer. too.
No, don't watch the trailer. I disagree.
Watch the trailer.
No, please don't watch the trailer.
Okay.
And
why can't they watch the trailer?
because a lot of people who have watched the trailer said it clouded how they thought
they
it was
wanted
going
it.
to be.
Uh,
Yeah. You should just
okay,
go
well,
in
I
raw.
saw the trailer and I still loved it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see the trailer, and I had people tell me that they would have liked to have seen it with clean eyes.
Okay.
So basically,
Teach their
though,
own.
what?
I said to each their own.
Sure, but
Yeah.
listen to me because this
Okay.
is my podcast.
Buy it. No, you gotta. You have to rent it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only thing. It's a little steep because movies. It was supposed to be in the theater, so you
It would
gotta
have
rent
been
it.
like $16
Oh
anyway
yeah,
per
totally.
person.
It's $20. So I mean, like, I know $20 ain't nothing, but it's definitely worth the viewing. And
Watch the movie.
yeah,
Like
everybody watch.
everybody,
The movie.
I really think everybody who is gonna have sex should watch this movie first. Like.
Yeah.
It's a really huge conversation on consent and like what rape is. And so, yeah, go in and don't even watch the trailer
Don't watch the trailer.
because I didn't watch the trailer.
I watched the trailer,
I know.
but don't watch the trailer.
But don't watch the trailer. I think it's good to go in with fresh eyes.
You can go in however you please, but just watch that movie because it's good. It's gonna be everything anybody's gonna be talking about. So get on there, and it needs to be talked about. And it's what's it called? It's mandatory watching.
Yeah.
Yes, Professor Ben says mandatory watch list.
Yeah. If How Come was a college course,
Yeah,
this
and
would
it
be
even-
required.
Yeah, required watching.
Yeah.
And
This
and
is-
it deals with the you know, the rape culture within the college and university scene, and
I mean,
and-
it is
Yeah,
It's trying to depict society at large, I think.
Yeah.
And we're going to go into this more in depth, but you might want to watch the movie before listening to the rest of this episode because I'm going to do some spoilers.
Oh, you're going to spoiler them? Oh,
yeah.
okay. I didn't know that's what you were going to do.
No.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we've already done some minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Sure, but so then they have to stop the episode if they want to go watch it? I mean, if they have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know. Let's record the spoilers, and maybe you could put the spoilers on Patreon.
Totally.
And that way, the regular listener doesn't have to stop the episode.
No, I want to go through the whole thing.
I get it. Yeah, because all right. Well, then yeah.
So I will probably I've posted all day today, being like, watch this movie, and now this is for people who have watched.
Yeah, get it out.
This episode is for people who have watched this movie.
Right. This episode is, or just this portion?
Well, this portion.
Okay.
And then the second part is going to be enlightening people about what's going on with Armie Hammer if they haven't already heard, or if they've heard and it is a joke to them. So before we talk about this amazing movie, about a terrible subject, and before we talk about a terrible person doing terrible things, I think we should talk about pleasure just for a second, because that is the point of this podcast. And so many of our New Year's resolutions are about doing less of something and cutting down and, I don't know, putting like a restraint on yourself. But I think one of my resolutions is to give myself more. And why not give yourself more? More pleasure, more rest, more time to connect with yourself and your body. Get in the habit of doing that with Dipsea. You have heard me talk about Dipsea. I am so obsessed. It is an audio app full of short, sexy stories designed to turn you on. Each story features characters that feel like real people and immersive scenarios, so you feel like you're right there, which is awesome, especially when you are not leaving your house a ton, maybe. You can find stories about an off-limits hookup with, I don't know, a friend's boyfriend, or a costume party that takes things to the next level, or maybe a story where your partner tells you exactly what to do. Or you try a new toy together. They have all different stories. They release new ones every week, so there's always more to explore, no matter who you're into, what turns you on, what you think you might be turned on by, and what you want to sample. They also have wellness sessions, which are awesome. I have just started doing the wellness sessions, and I've been having the best time, especially with the bedtime stories and soundscapes. They've been helping me relax before I drift off, because I've been trying to not do it with screens too much. And yeah, I think it's like an amazing way to get in the mood, an amazing way to learn new techniques about, doing stuff to yourself or doing stuff to your partner, techniques about things that you can say to your partner. It's just really awesome. And I think you guys will love it. So for listeners of the show, Dipsea is offering a 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. That is a 30-day free trial when you go to Dipsea, DIPSEA, stories.com/howcome. dipseastories.com/howcome. You guys are going to love it. And if at any point you're like, I'm done with the spoilers, because I know some of you are just going to listen to this even if you haven't watched the movie, and that's great. I love spoilers. I sometimes, I know I said don't watch the trailer, but sometimes I'll read an entire spoiler of a movie or a TV episode because I don't care about the ending. I care about the journey. And so if you are that type of person, cool, I'm here for you. And if not, you're like, oh, I'm kind of done with spoilers, then maybe go hang out at Dipsea for a while. If you haven't watched the movie and you want to hear about Armie Hammer, please fast forward to 1 hour and 5 minutes. So if you want to go to that section, fast forward now.
Okay, what do you got?
Have you watched the movie?
Have I?
Have you watched the movie, everyone?
I don't know if they have, but if they haven't, you shouldn't be fucking listening.
Stop listening. Okay, so Promising Young Woman. Okay, based on the title alone, I did not want to watch this movie for some reason, because I was just like, ugh, like it's gonna be some learning about women movie.
What?
Yeah.
That's what you thought?
Yeah, because I still have so much internalized misogyny. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, what did you think it could be? What did you think?
I don't know, like some like girl in school trying to like make her way like and break through the glass ceiling, and I'm like, yeah, we've seen this and it doesn't fucking work.
Did you think it was gonna be like Legally Blonde or something? Like,
I don't know.
like Legally Blonde could have been called Promising Young Woman, and it would have still worked probably.
No, Legally Blonde is one of the most genius punny titles of our generation.
All right. Yeah. Also, good movie. Check that one out.
Check out Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
Different tone, definitely. But yeah, I didn't want to watch it, and then I was told by Sarah Afkami, who I respect very much, and Sarah was like, "You need to watch this movie. Like, it's everything we've ever."
See, I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, "That looks dope." And then I was going to suggest it to you, but it looked too scary.
Yes, that's what a lot of people have been saying.
That's what I was gonna say, because Rem doesn't really do scary movies. So anytime like I see something that I'm like, oh, that could be cool, I think that it might kind of scare her.
No, it could be scary.
It could be scary.
Yeah.
So, and it is a scary, but
and
it's not.
It's written as a thrill. It's a thriller.
It's definitely, and
It's not like-
oh no, and it is scary. It is scary,
is
but
scary.
it's must see.
Yeah.
It's must see.
Yeah, but it's scary, and a lot of people were writing me being like, yeah, I'm so nervous to watch it. And I understand that if you're like a survivor and like you don't want to be triggered in that way, but a lot of people are like, am I just going to be scared? Like, I was told Get Out was like terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, because it was marketed as a thriller, and I was like, oh, I can't watch that. That's like a very scary movie.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch it for like a year, and I'm really mad about that.
Yeah, and it was good.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one, even if like you're like, I don't like blood and you've already watched it. Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
So what are we doing
Okay,
even?
So what are we talking? Okay. So what I loved about this movie is every time I've had a thought about rape culture or about like girls being ridiculous, or you know what I mean? Like those internalized like misogynistic thoughts that like seep into you because we're in a patriarchal society where like rape culture is fucking real, and like rapists get away with this shit every day.
Yeah, like in the movie when the dean's like, we get 2 of these a week.
Yeah. Oh my God. And it was like, yeah, you get 2 of them a week. Does that mean you're ignoring 2 of them a week?
Yeah.
Like, that's so bad. But I felt every time there's a thought that I had like earlier in life, they were combated in this movie, and they were said by characters, and then she would either combat them, and it would totally subvert anything that you could ever say, like, well, she shouldn't have been there if she was drinking.
Right.
You know, like all of those little things. And the title itself it's what they say about, she's
Boys. No, I thought it was a play on what they say about boys. He's such a promising
young man.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like, oh, she was such a promising young woman. She could have been
Oh no, I think it's literally like what they say about
the young men.
The young men usually. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why they're like, oh, his word matters over hers because he could be something great, and you don't want to ruin his life.
And it's also a play on like her being a very promising young woman to take this into her own hands and like, you know, dish out a little bit of vigilante
promising
justice.
to dismantle the
to take it
system.
on, to take it on and to get people to admit their faults and shit like that.
Yeah. And it reminded me of like anytime they've made that argument that it's like, okay, well, it's her word against his, and like he has this exciting life that he could go on to lead that could help people, and he could be a doctor. Like, she literally was in med school to be a doctor. So if you were thinking like maybe she wasn't a promising young woman, that is combated throughout the movie. Even the doctor that she's dating is like, oh my God, you were so much better in school than me. Like, I dropped something in a kidney or something like that.
And same thing with her friend Nina. She was top of her class.
Top of her class.
She was a promising young woman.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. So
and she's beautiful. Like she's promising in the way that like we think women are promising too.
Yeah.
You know, like they also made it a point. I read like 19 think pieces after I watched it just to be like, does everyone agree with me? Like, am I on?
Yeah.
And one of them was like, yeah, like even the sets and the outfits are like hyper feminized to like what a promising young woman should be. And she's beautiful and her hair is long, which is, we're not used to seeing Carey Mulligan with long hair. Like she's always had short hair.
So I don't think I've seen. I don't know if I've seen anything that Carey Mulligan's been in before. Have I?
I don't think I have either, but I've seen her like on the red
crushed it.
carpet, and yeah, she was amazing. But I've always known her as like a very short-haired woman, and I don't know if that was like intentional, but she had this long hair, and it was always like braided in the most feminine ways, and just so big and like undoubtedly beautiful and feminine and small.
Yeah.
And it turns everything on its head, because something with that kind of aesthetic and that kind of bubbly soundtrack you would think is just like a rom-com, and this is a rom-com with like a super dark twist. And they also, I love how they casted these like quote unquote nice boys from the early aughts, like Adam Brody, who was in the OC as like Knight, Seth Cohen, McLovin, Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
all these normally unthreatening boys.
Schmidt from New Girl.
Well, Schmidt
is more problematic.
Yeah,
but we've also like grown to like love him as like one of our like beloved white boys or whatever.
For sure. I don't know. I watched him in American Horror Story, and he was crazy in that.
Oh, see, I can't watch that. It's too scary.
Yeah, too scary.
I watched Coven though, because I love witches.
Yeah.
And yeah, Adam Brody, like you think in the beginning that he's going to be the nice one, because he's defending that, we can't have company.
Right. See, now if you did not know anything about the movie, then that's what you would have thought about him. Yeah. Because
I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, he's going to be the nice one, and he's going to.
Yeah.
That's another thing, is like throughout the movie, I kept still thinking it was going to be a rom-com. I kept still hoping for the end, which is what you want, that there's
like
love.
Bo Burnham's a good guy.
Yeah, everyone's a good guy. And did you feel at any point that the movie was anti-man?
No.
Okay, good.
I don't think so.
I didn't think so either.
I was trying to look at it like who could get mad at this movie and try to spin it like.
It also highlights the women who let rape culture happen. What, is Grace swatting under the door?
I don't know.
Is she walking in front of it?
I don't know. I thought I heard her pounding.
Oh. Is that her? Why don't you just open the door?
No, she's gone.
Okay.
Little diddle.
She's been so cute lately.
She loves it here.
She has that Portland glow up.
Yeah.
But yeah, though, they also highlight the women who add to rape culture, who like the Dean and Madison, and the people who would rather bury their head in the sand and just go along with things because that's just the way it is. You know, like we have like a lot of evil female characters too who are to blame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't really get talked about like ever in movies or like in general, really. Is that the doodle?
Yeah, just open the door.
Come on in, fat thing.
Hello.
Goodbye.
No, don't close it. She'll just walk by again. Keep it open.
No, because we're recording.
I know. Oh, because for the sound?
Yeah, and
they're back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I just showed you that video that I posted on How Come's Instagram of Ellen Pompeo basically like victim blaming and being like, I would never go to Harvey Weinstein's room, and like when I have, he's never hit on me.
Yeah, they should have gotten her to play the Dean. Like she would have. They kind of look alike too.
Yeah, but Connie Britton was amazing.
Yeah. What else did she? Was she in American
Friday
Horror
Night
Story?
Lights?
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Who's the lady in American Horror Story? I'm gonna stop
Jessica
talking
Lange.
If I don't have my glasses on, they all look the same.
Yeah. Oh, I love being naked in front of you. You can't see anything.
Yeah, it's got like that
beauty filter.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that old like soap opera filter on it.
That's her.
No, I see her.
Okay.
She keeps touching the door. Anyway.
But yeah, Ellen Pompeo is basically in this clip, and it just shows that it really does still go on today with like our very well-known actresses who are like contributing to the culture by not believing the survivors. Like so many women have come out about Harvey Weinstein, and your thing is like, but he never hit on me.
Right.
And that's what is talked about in this movie too. Like Madison, her their like third friend, I think represents like all the friends that don't believe you or don't care enough to blow up their social lives. And so does Ryan a little bit, because when we meet him, he's always like, oh yeah, those guys, they're not that bad or whatever.
Who's Ryan?
Bo Burnham.
I thought it was Brian.
Ryan.
Okay. I might be Brian.
I don't know. I read about it and it said Ryan.
That's going to drive me nuts.
I'm pretty...
This whole time I thought it was Brian.
No.
It's not important, but...
What was his name?
His name is Ryan.
Yeah, his name's Ryan. And I thought it was Brian too until I read 16 Think Pieces and they all
Then
said
you knew,
Ryan.
yeah.
So yeah, we've talked about, I think on Rape Jokes by Survivors and in the Seeking Arrangements episode, how tough it is when your friends don't believe you or do believe you and still stay friends with the person who abused you. Mm-hmm. And it is like constant gaslighting, because you're like, okay, so either you don't believe me, which fucking hurts, or you do believe me and you just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Grace, just come in then.
She's funny.
She's so funny, but like, she won't come in. What does she want?
She wants attention. She wants me out.
But yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, to not have that kind of support, or that kind of like false support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who's ever like been like, but they're always nice to me, like wonder why they're always nice to you. Does that do something for their social status? Like, I don't know.
I like how the main character was kind of not super extreme. Like at the beginning, I thought she was going to be murdering all these people.
Right.
Yeah, but everything that she did, she'd kind of like thought it out to be not, what's the word I'm looking for, you know?
To be moral?
Because yeah, I guess more moral. Because like
Yeah.
when she drugged Allison Brie,
Yeah, Madison.
and left her at the hotel with that guy, I was like, damn, this bitch is savage. She just gave.
I know.
She just paid that guy to rape Allison Brie. This is fucked up.
And I think that you are supposed to be led to that
You're supposed to be led to that because.
But you kept saying stuff like that, and I was like, I don't think she would do that.
That doesn't make any sense for a character that had that done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why the movie's so good. It's like so thought out, because it could have been just a slasher flick about chopping off dicks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And everybody probably still would have enjoyed it and been like, yo, this is fucking
But that
lit.
wasn't the point. The point was to combat rape culture. She's literally an anti-rape vigilante. So she would never inflict rape upon somebody.
And like also like, and even with the dean, not the dean, but good example with the dean. Like she didn't actually take the daughter to. She would never do that. Room. Yeah,
she wouldn't want to destroy a girl. It's destroyed her life. It destroyed her best friend.
Yeah,
she doesn't want to continue the cycle.
But she did pay that guy to fuck up the attorney though.
She was about to.
Yeah, she was about to. No, she paid him.
Oh, she did pay him.
But that was about to go down.
But then she. Yeah, that's what I like too, is like we saw good guys who who do have redeeming arcs and
Doc
couldn't
Ock,
sleep.
Baby. Yeah.
What's Doc Ock?
The actor that played the attorney.
His name is Doc Ock?
No, he played Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. I don't know the actor's real name.
Cool. Like, what do you want me to do with that?
I was gonna say.
The fuck is Dr. Octagon?
Octopus.
Like, oh, okay. You're like deep cutting Spider-Man right now.
People would know. That's like a lot. Like anybody that's our age, I feel when they see that actor, they're like, "That's Dr. Octopus."
Okay.
Maybe not.
Well,
maybe just your. I don't know.
I didn't think that. Okay. I thought, look at this man who is weeping and wants her to hurt him, and has
been waiting for somebody
to hurt him, has ended his practice, is like so guilt stricken, remembers her name.
Yeah, he can't sleep.
He's the first person in the movie that remembers her name.
Yeah.
Even Ryan doesn't. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
In the beginning, he's like, oh, Madison, like, weren't you Madison and that other girl friends?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody remembers Nina's name.
Yeah.
Because rape was happening twice a week at school.
Yeah. Or they all remember the name and they're
trying to black it out and distance themselves from it. Yeah, that's probably more likely.
But that's why she wanted to etch it into Al's body
skin.
at the end because
Yeah.
nobody could remember it.
I loved the casting of the parents. All of the parents in the movie are excellent comedic actors that we are used to seeing in the silliest,
And that's
funniest roles.
that's most of the cast. Most of the cast are comedic actors besides,
Yeah.
Bozick,
Yeah.
McLovin, and
Yeah.
and Brody. They all do comedy stuff.
Yeah, but like specific, like the parents are like Molly Shannon and like the voice of Mr. Krabs and and Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, and
you
Stifler's
know,
mom,
who we've never seen doing a normal voice. And in this movie, she's like, "Where is my daughter?" Like we're seeing people who usually bring us so much joy and seeing how grief stricken they can be.
Yeah.
And like, you really think about like the families of survivors and like what happens. Like, it's not just the person that gets affected, it's everyone.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the movie did a fantastic job of showing like the trickle down. Like, you always think after somebody that commits suicide, you're like,
oh
yeah,
suicide affects 4 generations. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know it was
It
that
stays
far,
in a
but-
family for 4 generations. Yeah. Also with the scene with the dean, and just like I said this before, but like the first time she went to her, I kept thinking, oh, she's getting her life back on track. Like I didn't understand that the point of the movie was redemption.
Oh man, really? They were like throwing numbers on the screen.
No,
being like,
no.
boom,
I knew that
number
that's what
2.
she was doing.
Yeah.
But I also thought there was this like secondary plot of like her getting back on track because that's
Well, yeah, they were trying to build that plot before you find out about Bo's character. Was that she was starting to become herself again. She was starting to get back on track. Starting to, feel again. And
Yeah, and she's like, and I just want to come back here. Like, I started thinking about my time here, and I was like, oh wow, like she could be a doctor again. Like, what a promising young woman. Like,
oh no, like right away I was like, why would you go back to the same school? That was my whole thing with it. It was like, why would you stay in the same town, go back to the same school, like stick around these people unless you were going to go and get vengeance, or you know what I mean? I don't like when she went back to the school, I could see that if she was at like another school where you're like, she's getting her life back on track, going to go be a doctor. But the fact that she went back to that school right away, I was like, oh shit.
No, I'm just so accustomed to like the trope of like person getting their shit back together and like falling in love, and that's solving their life.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's traumatized, but like a boy comes and
a
now
boy
her
can fix
life
it.
is
Yeah, and
solved.
boy can fix it, and like a job can fix it.
Yeah.
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 Right. I get it, but yeah.
But yeah.
I think that is what they were probably going for, but right away
that
I
is
was
definitely
like,
it.
but right away I was like,
Yeah, it's also better the second time. I will say that. Like, any movie is better the second time.
how much longer do we have it for? Like now they're like 20 minutes? Like
no,
2
we get
hours?
it for 48 hours.
Right, but didn't we rent it like
Last night.
it was only last night?
Yeah, we have a whole other day.
Oh, sweet. I'm gonna watch it again.
I know, we should watch it again. So yeah, the scene with the dean, at first I was like, oh my God, she's getting her life together. Now she's not. And yeah, she said that important thing that you mentioned where it's like, we have to give these young boys the benefit of the doubt. And this is one of those scenes that I'm saying, like, the dean was saying things that I've heard or that I've even like thought to myself. Like, I remember when the stuff about Louis C.K. came out, remember? And I went to therapy and I said to my therapist, I was like, well, who cares if those 2 women's careers were like cut short because he blacklisted them? Like, what would they have made anyway?
Yeah.
And like,
yeah, I think
that's again my own internalized misogyny, but like when the dean was saying like we have to give the boys the benefit of the doubt, it's like because what we're saying is they would be better doctors and they have more to lose.
And I think that was what was also so powerful about that scene is like I feel like a lot of the times we see that coming from a male dean looking out for his boys, and the fact that it was this woman willing to essentially throw other women under the bus for men essentially. That's what I think was interesting, and because I think that's just that I think happens all the time, and I've never seen it depicted with a female dean being the one to do that.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a choice.
Yeah, I remember when Brock Turner. And the dean and the judge, of those of that whole shit
were men,
and that's they said the same thing. This
boys will be boys.
This is a promising young man. We're not supposed to ruin his
life.
Yeah, I mean, but fucking Google college rapist. He's the first one that comes up.
Yeah,
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. I don't even think he went to jail. Didn't he only do 8 months
we could
or
look
something?
that up, but it was not just. That's all I remember was that he got off or something like.
Yeah, promising young men get off all the time. We've got fucking Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court. And they're not even that promising. It's just we've been conditioned to look at them and be like, oh, he has so much to lose.
Yeah.
And she doesn't because she's a woman and they're stupid.
Yeah, he only went to fucking so he got 6 months in jail.
But yeah, in this case, we know undoubtedly that these women were more promising. It's not just like a normal school too, or a normal college where it's like, oh, anybody can get into college. It's med school.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to be doctors and better doctors, who wouldn't rape people or bystand. Doctors are supposed to be good people.
Yeah, supposed to be.
And we think about we've been talking about women's healthcare a lot, and yeah, if you let the rapists go through, that's not a good doctor. Anyway, then we see that scene where are you with me or?
Yeah, I'm just reading about the case. What?
Anything good?
Just that the judge that sentenced him ended up getting disbarred right afterward because
really?
Yeah, so they recalled the judge, this Judge Persky, because they said that the greater issue was with this judge was that he didn't just do this with Brock. He did this with countless cases, that he was, notoriously easy on men and assault cases and rape charges and yada, yada. So there was a big recall campaign led by a Stanford law professor named Michelle Dauber. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. I'm terrible.
Spell it?
Dauber.
Dauber or Dauber?
Dauber. Yeah, Michelle Dauber. And so they all argued that it was that Turner's sentence was part of a broader problem with Judge Persky. So the big issue was that Brock Turner got this very light sentencing, and then the judge wasn't even a judge very shortly after.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So
So now he's just out there in the world. That's great. Yeah, and then we also see Cassie is back on the grind, seducing men, or not even, no, not seducing men. Going out, so that is so fucked up of me. Going out and being blackout.
Yeah.
That she literally does no seducing.
Yeah.
Even in the conversations that they're having,
she's never like, hey, big boy, you're hot.
She's never saying, I like you or anything.
Never. Yeah,
the
it's
men are
always
having totally one-sided conversations
and she's
with her,
at
her.
Yeah.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse about his novel about how tough it is for guys these days.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I just really feel a connection with you.
Yeah, and she hasn't said a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's getting...
Most of them don't even know her name.
Yeah. She's getting taken home by this guy, Paul, or whatever, in the fedora, and Ryan sees her.
Another comedic actor.
Who? Paul?
Yeah, Paul. He's from our new favorite show on Netflix, I Think You Should Leave.
Oh, yeah,
he's half of the comedy duo that works with what's his name? Tim Robinson.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, another comedy guy.
Recognize him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, she's hanging on him, and Ryan walks by, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And the guy is like, "Oh, sorry, man. I didn't realize the woman was spoken for." And Ryan says all the perfect things of like spoken for, like I don't
Yeah,
own
like
her.
all mine.
Yeah, like he's like,
she's all yours. And he's like, all mine.
how dare you? Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's even like saying all the right feminist shit. Grace, come in. She's not inside.
I know. Well, she's not gonna come in here.
She's gonna try. Yeah. So then he's saying all that shit, and she's like, wait. And then Paul's like, wait, are you not drunk? And she's like, no, I'm not fucking drunk. And he's like, oh my God, you're that psycho. Like, no, whatever. Like,
You're that psycho Adrian Brody took home.
yeah, Adam Brody.
Adam Brody.
And then says the classic catcall line when you get rejected, you're not even that hot. And
Yeah.
it's like, yes, she is.
Yeah.
She is undoubtedly very hot, and you were just called out for being a creep. And then she says one of my favorite things in the movie, and she goes, I'm not the only one who does this. There's a woman in the city who carries a pair of scissors, so be more careful. And I feel like if I were a rapist or somebody like who is down with taking advantage of drunk people, I'd be like, oh my God.
You're like
they're gonna
I'm
start
not do
doing
this anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I saw this movie, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think it is also going to deter people from doing
Being
shit
creeps.
like this. Yeah.
And then he runs off crying. Why do you guys have to ruin everything?
Yeah, so funny.
Which is so funny. And literally like all of incel Twitter is like,
Yeah.
why don't we just get to rape you?
Yeah.
You guys are being so annoying.
Yeah.
Be cool. And then here comes me again when she tells Ryan it won't happen again. She shows up at his house and I'm like, glimpse of hope. Oh my God, she's healed. Like her trauma's done. She loves him because he's the one. And I think that's what you're supposed to feel.
That's what you're definitely supposed to feel, because even for a moment at the right when the movie started and we met Bo Burnham, Remy was like, oh, I love that he's the love interest. I'm like, I bet you he's fucked up too. And then you were like, no. And I kind of sniffed it out early, but I was even with you at that point. I was like, no, he is the silver lining in this movie. But we should have seen that fucking coming. They dropped the foreshadowing right away by the fact that he attended the school.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he even went to the school should have already been like, and that that he knew Al and Madison.
Yeah.
It should have already been like,
yeah. Well, that's the
Ryan's
thing.
in on
Those
it.
are red flags. I guess we should look for
We ignored
now.
them. We ignored them
too.
as well as the
Yeah.
viewer.
Oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. They're really not that bad.
Yeah, because that's good. Yeah.
So yeah, she tells him it won't happen again. She's done. She feels redeemed. She's going to be normal again. And then he visits her at the coffee shop. They kiss. They haven't kissed this whole time. And that's when I'm like, as a survivor, like she's healed.
Yeah.
Because also she's been letting herself get assaulted this whole time. That's what I think those red marks are, is when the person ends up actually raping her. Like
Red marks
in the notebook when she's marking them off in different colors.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't know. That's a good take, because I was still unsure about what those red marks mean.
Yeah. I still don't know, and I haven't read anything about nobody's.
Because it's alluded to in the film that she has also experienced some type of.
Don't you think every woman has at this
but,
point?
Right. But we never really get a firm answer on what happened with her. The focus of the film is what happened to Nina.
Sure. But even in the big, but
it's alluded to that
she lets Adam Brody look into her vagina. She lets Christopher Mintz-Plasse put his hands in her.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what the color coding meant. I thought the red was that she was just killing these dudes. But once again, that was never her intention.
Yeah.
To kill people.
Yeah. Also, she wouldn't get away with it because the system is so behind them that. And so they kiss, and I'm like, oh my God, she's healed. She can be physical too. This is so exciting. It's that easy. There's a bliss montage, which pissed me off the first time I saw it, because I was like, really? This bubblegum poppy bliss montage in a pharmacy where they're singing, and they're not just singing any song. They're singing Paris Hilton's Stars Are Blind, which I initially was like,
it's a banger.
I love that song, but I'm like, what?
Why choose this song
Yeah.
of all the songs?
And then I read in one of my think pieces
Oh yeah.
that it is a nod to the fact that like she had a sex tape released
Right.
without
her consent. Right. Yeah, I feel like everything in the movie was very thought meticulously about, you know, from song selection to costume design to casting of, you know, these non-threatening men that we're used to seeing. Everything with this movie is just so well done, you know, just across the board. Just I think everything was very purposefully done.
100%.
The more we watch it, I think we're going to see, you know, more things that we're like, oh wow, it was on purpose to use this person and on purpose to do this more. So I'm excited to see what else we find.
Yeah. And also the first time I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, she knows the lyrics to Stars Are Blind, which made me feel better because she's even more normal and like the more status quo. And like, I wanted her to like, just like fall in line and like be normal again and like make her parents happy.
Well, I think ultimately she did want to not do that anymore and like have a normal life and feel better.
But it's still fucked up to be like, just be normal when like she has a cause. And like she is doing something very powerful. Like I don't think any of those men are going to go out and try that shit again.
Right.
And then so she's so normal at this point that after the bliss montage, they have a dinner with her parents. And it is the most cookie cutter Norman Rockwell dinner where they're talking about how delicious the sauce was. And it was just so fucking saccharine. It was so sweet, you know, and they're like, oh, we love the boyfriend. And
and the boyfriend's being jokey and charming.
And this is when the dad was like, Nina was like a daughter to us. We really miss her, but we missed you more.
Yeah.
Like we missed you too. And, yeah, we already talked about the moments that we think she's going to get women raped. But she wouldn't do that. Like, you don't fight rape with rape.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that movie's been made and not
Has
good.
it?
But I mean, you know, like I feel like this type of movie where the vigilance is not... Like the vigilance is more extreme, like killing them or cutting their dicks off.
The vigilante.
The vigilantes.
Vigilance.
The vigilante.
Does that work, you guys? I don't know.
Cut it.
No, I'll keep it in. The vigilanteism is more...
Vigilanteism?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going with, everyone?
I don't know. Vote below. And... Yeah, you don't fight rape with rape.
No.
And then we find out that Madison, nothing happened to her.
Right.
Because she just wanted to give her that feeling of this is what it's like when you get too fucked up.
And wake up and
does that mean you deserve to have gotten fucked?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
And she goes to Cassie's house and she's like, I have to tell you something. There was a video.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does she give her the video, but she goes, I don't know how we all watched it and thought it was funny.
Right.
And it just seems like, a nod to how society on a larger scale laughs at any leaked sex tapes or nudes it was like part of the,
That's part of it. Yeah.
And then we see that Ryan is one of those men who laughed. And I had a feeling when she said there was a video, I was like,
Ryan's going to be in that video.
Bystander. Yeah.
I thought Ryan was going to be filming it.
No,
something crazy.
Schmidt was filming it.
Yeah, Schmidt was filming it. Man, that character, what a piece of shit that character was.
Yeah. But like, I feel like we all know that guy too.
Yeah, the
enabler.
Yeah.
And who's like down to just like cover up anything for his boys. And yeah, so Ryan he's a bystander, right? But he's also an enabler.
Mm-hmm.
He witnessed it. He probably knew that there was a court case.
Well, that's the thing. Like everybody that was in the video or knew about it, it is bad because they went
along with it for all these years. Yeah.
Not only along with it, but probably actively denied it too, because there probably was some type of investigation, even though it was light because of the dean or whatever, and the lawyer
intimidated her into dropping her case.
Yeah. So it was. So yeah, they're all garbage.
And then once we see that Ryan is one of the bystanders, we realize she can never be okay. Like I was like, oh, she's healed, and I was like, well,
That's
there
when
goes
I thought.
that.
Well, no, that's when I thought it was going to turn into the slasher vigilante. I was like, oh, it's all out the window now because now like all bets are off. Like she's 100%, snapped and broken. And like I was like, yo, she's gonna go to this bachelor party, and I thought it was gonna be some like red wedding shit from Game of Thrones. Like everybody is dying inside that building.
And I'm so glad it's not. Because,
I'm so glad it's not
because
too.
anybody watching that would have been like, crazy.
Yeah.
Women are crazy.
Right.
Like even after all of this, they'd be like, fucking batshit bitch.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in this movie.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Right.
But we do realize she can never be okay. She even says it to Ryan, when she goes to his office. She goes, oh, you really thought everything was going to be okay with her, but also with him, because now she knows this has been on his mind the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's been able to court her while knowing about that.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Even the nice guy she loves was a bystander, also still defends it.
Yeah.
Like the lawyer at least is like, I can't sleep. And he's like, I was a kid.
Yeah.
We always hear that in the court cases too.
Kids.
I was a kid.
We were kids.
You were in med school.
Yeah.
How old is med school?
I don't know.
23 to 26 or something like
23, 22.
That's not a kid. And then he goes, think about this, please. And she says, I cannot tell you how much I've thought about it.
Yeah.
And you caught that line and I didn't.
Yeah.
And it was just like so fucking, because he's again trying to say that thing.
I was like, that's a dope line.
line.
That's such a
my
good
life.
writing. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, think what you've done to
Yeah.
Nina's gone.
Yeah.
When the dean was like, how's your friend? And she's like, not good.
Yeah, because we weren't sure that
if she was dead or
yet.
if she was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, because even when she goes to visit Molly Shannon, it's unclear because like her she could have been upstairs or something.
Yeah.
Because the way Molly Shannon
like, this
talks
isn't
about
good
it,
for
this isn't
Nina.
good for Nina. She talks about her like she's still here.
Yeah. And then he goes, you have to forgive me. You have to forgive me. He starts crying, like, because he can't even deal with the fact that he might be held accountable, like, by somebody whose friend killed herself because she was raped and you watched it.
Yeah.
Why does she have to forgive you?
Yeah.
Because then you can go on living your life. And then he also says, and then she says no. And he goes, so you're perfect. You've never done anything wrong. I can't live with this threat over me. I didn't even do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole thing. You didn't do anything.
And, oh, I'm sorry. The threat living over your head would be really bad. Well, my friend killed herself.
Yeah.
That's been pretty bad. And also, like, this keeps happening twice a week at school still.
Yeah.
How many other promising young women are done?
Yeah.
And then she shows up to the bachelor party. And even then, in my fucking head, I go, why do women keep putting themselves in these situations? I would never go to a house with 20 guys. Like, Remy, stop it. Like, a person should be able to go to a place with 20 guys and not think, oh, that's a bad situation. You're going to get gang raped.
Right. You were thinking of it from the standpoint of like an actual dancer that's going to like that go to these kind of parties. Yeah.
And I'm like, stupid stripper. No, they're doing their jobs. Why aren't we I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up that that's where we're at in society. But yeah, I think that I kind of thought the same thing. I was like, damn, like strippers should bring like a bouncer with them.
I think some do.
Like they should.
They should. But also,
why?
Why?
Yeah. but
because boys will be boys. No, like I assure you, if women, like high-powered women, do assault people. Women do assault people. It's just that we live in a patriarchy, so men are the people usually having each other's backs.
Well, and it's just like,
but like anybody who does an abuse of power is like
right.
gross to me. Like it's not just men, but it's that this system has mostly supported men, and so men have been the ones getting away with shit.
Right.
Like Lori Loughlin went to jail for fucking 3 months for getting her daughter paying for her daughter to get into college.
That's like longer than
Brock Turner for raping a girl and leaving her behind a dumpster.
Yeah.
So yeah, women just, if they're doing stuff, they usually don't get away with it. So yeah, she shows up to the bachelor party and I'm like, oh. And the men when she's going upstairs are screaming and hooting and hollering, and one of them says, I better see her crawling out of here in the morning. She better not be able to walk.
Yeah.
So the goal is pain.
Pain fucking.
And then we have this scene with Al that I don't know if she planned to die, but I think she did.
I don't think she did.
You don't think she did?
I think she sent the note.
Did.
I think, well, then it was all chance that she died, though. Like, because first of all, the handcuffs were tight. She even says that. Like, she didn't unpurposefully, have him get loose. He got loose. She was going to cut him up.
I think she needed him to be so afraid so that he would kill her. I think she had it so calculated because she knew that even if she submitted this old ass fucking evidence, it's an old rape case.
Yeah.
He's a person about to get married with a wealthy family. Like, nothing would happen.
That go away. Yeah.
We also had to prove to the viewer that this man had not changed and that he was still willing to ruin or take a woman's life in order for him to just move on happily.
Yeah, I don't know if the character planned it, but the writer sure did.
Yeah.
For you to
Yeah, okay.
Because the character, I think she went in there with the full possibility that she could get killed, because it's kind of that same thing that we felt. It was like, damn, you're going into a fucking room with 20 fucking drunk dudes. Like, yeah, fucking.
You're asking for it.
No, that is an option that I think crossed her mind too. In fact, every time that, when she would go out and pretend to be drunk and be alone with people, I was like, I was scared for her because of the size advantage, like not just size advantage, but just like, not like McLovin, like she could probably take McLovin.
No, but like the home field advantage and
it's just kind of like, I was like, I think she always was knowingly going into a situation knowing that she could fucking get seriously hurt or killed pretty much every time, and that this time it was going to be even like more intense and different, which is why she sent the note to the attorney. But I don't think she went in there and was like, all right, I'm going to tie him to the bed and he's going to get loose, and then but I mean, maybe.
But maybe.
Yeah, but
I
maybe.
don't know.
But I think that's the point of the writers.
I'm
is to
also
now
thinking about it like with the other ones, like she didn't have this master plan. Like she wasn't going to meet Bo Burnham again. He came across her.
Yeah.
Like she was just like, okay, I'm never going to see Al again, but I can change how society does this.
Yeah.
And I think she knew going in with any other guy that there was the possibility for her to get killed too. And then it would be like, okay, cool. Well, that's still a cause, because then this guy's going to go to jail for murder when otherwise he would have raped me.
Right.
Yeah. But the writers definitely thought about it.
Yeah.
Because from, let's say, a guy's who was really into rape's perspective, if they were watching it, they'd be like, she's crazy. Like, he's a different man now. And like, we see he's not.
Yeah.
Like, it's proven. Before they have this conversation where she's like, she dropped out top of her class, and so did I. I wanted to be a doctor my whole life. My whole life. Did you ever feel guilty? And he goes, it's every guy's nightmare getting accused of that. And she goes, do you know what every girl's nightmare is?
Yeah.
And like, he's just not thought about it at all this entire time. And then we watch him kill her for 2 minutes, and it is one shot.
Yeah, it was intense.
They never break away from it. And it's super triggering because we've seen somebody get suffocated this summer by a police officer.
With a knee, too.
With a knee to the face. And it's like, you just watch like the brutality of somebody who's able to do that for that amount of time. It's just one shot of how little he's changed and how much he thinks he deserves to keep living his life over her. And even after she's dead, he like angrily shakes her harder and like knees her in the face as if to say like, how dare you even try to get back at me?
Or like, how dare you make me do this? Or something like that. Yeah. I think he even says something like that where he's like, you did this or some shit like this.
Yeah. I don't know if he's there yet, because then when Schmidt finds out she's dead, at first he's like annoyed and he's like, how did this happen? Like he doesn't even care. He's just like, come on, you killed the stripper. Like, what is this, a 90s movie?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how commonplace this is, that like, it's like a joke to you. And the Al is crying. He's like, what about my job? Nobody cares that they murdered anyone.
Yeah.
And then Schmidt is like, this is not your fault. This is not your fault. Like holding him like a baby. And literally the way that we survivors saying, this is not your fault. This is not what happened. He's flipping it, making him think that something happened to him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you remember. I got in a fight with somebody because they were like, these boys, like, you never know who's going to get accused now. I'm like, that's what you're thinking of after the whole Me Too movement? I'll tell you off mic.
Oh,
but it was like a huge fight. And I was like, really? That's what the whole movement has taught you is like, but what about him and his life? Actually, I think we talk about it in season 1. There's an episode called Him Too.
Oh, I thought you were I thought this was somebody new who watched the movie.
Oh, no, no, no,
and
no,
was
no, no,
siding
no, no.
with the boys in the movie.
No, 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 no. Oh my God.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway. He's holding him like a baby. He's coddling like him, like something happened to him. Like, why is threatening a man worse than murdering a woman?
Yeah.
Anyway, she had to get murdered because no one would care about the Al Monroe thing with Nina unless we could prove he hadn't changed.
It was such a crazy ending, man.
Wait. And then, well, that's the other thing is the protagonist dies 20 minutes before the movie's over.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was awesome.
Which was awesome. And I've never seen that before. And we also see that Ryan hasn't changed because when the cop goes to him and he's like, do you know where she could have been?
Yeah.
He knew exactly.
Yeah.
But instead of giving up the bachelor party,
he's like, she's suicidal.
he's like, yeah, she's suicidal. And he's relieved because his shit's not going to come out. And and so now you know your ex-girlfriend got murdered and you don't care.
Yeah, no, he was like already to the point where he was just looking out for himself.
Yeah, he's
He's a psycho too, because like you said, like the whole time.
Yeah,
he was okay with knowing things.
Yeah,
and then going after her and then and dating her. He's the one that kept pursuing the relationship. What a psycho.
Yeah.
Hey, I watched your friend fucking get raped and then she killed herself and you dropped out of med school, but I'm gonna pursue you.
Yeah, and pretend I had
like
no
I had
idea.
no idea, and that
or disassociate so much.
Well, that's what that's
because she
of,
said didn't make an impression, huh?
That's the thing with Alison Brie's character too, Madison, is that she's
like every other weekend.
Some of them might have just really blacked it out because that's what she said. She was like, I remembered that there was a movie, like video, like they could have really suppressed it. But I think
I think
they all knew. I think you don't forget.
You don't forget
like
that shit.
I'm like, you can try to lie to yourself as much as you can, but whatever.
And if you do, then it's fucked up that it's that commonplace that it's like, oh, that's not even a memory that registers with me.
Yeah.
And then the wedding, which is the best scene I've ever seen in my life. Did you notice that? Oh, yeah, you called this out, that Diane Keaton is the mom. She's like typical rich mom in the audience. Like I assume she's Al's mom. And it just reminds us of like every Nancy Meyers movie where it's like, it's complicated. Meryl Streep, Diane Keaton, like rich people with huge kitchens and stuff and like perfect lives.
Father's Bride.
Father the Bride. Yeah. And I looked at her and I remember thinking like in these court cases, like, oh, well, you know, like you don't want to ruin the family. Like the family has so much at stake or whatever. And like, those are the things that are protecting these kids too.
She's such a philanthropist. The mother donates so much.
And then we get these scheduled texts from Cassie to Ryan. Did you think it was over? It is now. Enjoy the wedding. She sends the friendship necklaces to Laverne Cox, who we really haven't talked about at all, but she's like the friend of the movie. And
so those were timed text messages?
Yeah.
See, because I thought the attorney had her phone and was texting from Cassie's phone, but then that makes more sense because then there's
scheduled.
Yeah.
No. It said scheduled text messages, which I didn't know was a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sends the friendship necklaces to Laverne Cox's character, or what's her name, Gail, and so that they'll have the evidence from her best friend necklace. Also, we didn't talk about Gail, but that's a part of the movie that like Gail is trans, and Bo Burnham was so cool and PC, the epitome of a woke sweet guy.
Yeah, I think that was just like part of the writing too. It was like to really get you to trust this guy. Yeah, like, and yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
It's a great movie, though.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it again. If you're telling me we've got it for another like 20 hours, that's gonna be
I
a
think
little.
we have it for another 20 hours.
You're gonna be in the edit hole,
Mm-hmm.
and old Benny D is gonna go pop some popcorn and watch this movie again.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And yeah, you guys, now I'm going to discuss Armie Hammer a little bit with Robin and Chandler. Just a little 10-minute snippet for you guys.
I initially intended to put the whole episode out, but honestly, recording it once and then the idea of editing an hour of these text messages just did not sound good to me. So yeah, if you want to hear the whole thing, go to patreon.com/howcome. And we will probably be doing a follow-up to this because, like I said, more evidence has come out every day since we recorded this episode. More and more women have come out. More and more girls have come out. Now we have evidence that he has assaulted minors and abused minors as well, as young as 15, accusing him of abuse. And when you are hearing us talk about these messages, because we do read some of them, remember that these survivors, they are not just numbers. They are promising young women with stories of their own who this man is deciding that his sexual pleasure is more important than how they value themselves, how they value their bodies, their lives. And they are promising. And so I hope if any survivors are listening, you know you are a promising young woman, you are a promising young person, and you can still be very promising even after something horrible has happened to you. If you want to read these messages, follow House of Effie on Instagram, follow Sophie Ross on Instagram. I will put their handles below. They both have highlights about the things he said. Trigger warning again.
What was your reaction? I've almost vomited the first time I read them.
I couldn't read for the first thing. I looked at them and I was like, just give me a second.
I told you my hands were sweaty the whole time. But you're also, I'm reading them in a position of I've been through something similar. So I'm slightly detached while reading them, and I didn't breathe much.
Yeah.
It was really hard to get through them.
Yeah. And that's why I think it's really important to have you on, because you've been in relationships that have done amazingly safe, wonderful, caring BDSM, learned how to do it. And then also in those ones where it goes way too far and it becomes abuse.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just want to go through these texts and hold everybody's hand through them.
I just reread them before this, and it was still there's certain ones that I like. There's certain things that he says that my ex has said to me that are just alarming in every way.
Yeah. And I know that people in the BDSM community, a lot do not support this, but some are coming out and saying that oh, this is fine. This is the same. This is kink shaming even, or whatever. And
no,
fucking Bella Thorne, you sent me that thing being the worst person
God.
ever.
Awful.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start at the beginning.
Yes.
I am going from Sophie Ross's stories and highlight. This has a massive trigger warning on it. Massive trigger warning: sexual violence, rape, cannibalism, other super fucked up shit. Another trigger warning because trigger warning at this point has lost its edge a little bit. Another trigger warning because I cannot overstate how disturbing they are. Do I want these on screen, or do you want me to say them?
You can. I don't care. If you don't want to say them, you can just put up.
the way that it's been like joked about in the news already, like so many people are desensitized. So like for that aspect, like I'm like, okay, let's just talk about it as if it's not happening. Like,
right.
Okay. So this first, and all of these are texts that were submitted by exes, former subs, people that he was having sex with. He says, I want to see everything. I want to see your brain, your blood, your organs, every part of you. I would definitely bite it 100% or try to fuck it. Not sure which, probably both. If I fucked you into a vegetative state, I'd keep you, feed you, wash you, and keep fucking you till you are so sore and broken.
It's a little bit more than BDSM.
Yeah.
This next one is like, it's real. Like I've had to say to Ben, please talk to me about something else because I'm visualizing it right now.
Yeah.
And it's like
horrible.
Okay. Horrible. Okay. The next one, he says, and what's interesting I find in these texts is you'll notice that the women don't really talk back. It's a lot of him talking at them and not asking for consent and not waiting for them to say, even you saying these things to me are okay. Mm-hmm. Because having those things said to you can even that's a fucking freaky thing to say to someone. Even if you have been engaging in other kinky stuff, like saying, I want you broken. Like there's another aspect of it that is like so evil and dehumanizing.
Well, that's what they're doing. He's dehumanizing her. He's doing it on purpose so that she gets used to it. And that like, that's what he's doing. It's a tactic.
So he says, wow, head rush, just how completely. Brand you, tattoo you, mark you, shave your head and keep your hair with me. Cut a piece of your skin and make you cook it for me. I mean, the tests can be endless. Whose slave-master relationship is the strongest? We'd win. This part I can't, but like I will. When I tell you to slit your wrists and use the blood as lube for anal.
Yeah, that's shitty. That's awful.
Like there are so many things in this that it's like, whose slave master relationship is the strongest? It's like, that's like a psychological thing that I can't even, like, it's like being like, you're being the best by letting yourself.
Yeah. So this is what they do. He's a narcissist. I mean, that's like pretty much been established. And what they do is they'll tell you about their other sexual partners. This is what my ex did. He'd tell me about other women that he was fucking, and he'd be like, but you're the top. Like, we have the best relationship because you'll do this for me and you'll go this far for me. And like, you'll let me hit you this much. And like, you have the most bruises out of any of them. Yeah. And it's like, it's such a mind fuck and it's so not okay, but that's how he's using it to like corral her in.
Yeah. And that, I mean, like when you tell somebody who just wants to be told that they're good, that they're being good, and they just want to lean into that while simultaneously breaking them and not asking them if it's good for them. Like right. This is not anyway. There was also a word that Robin, you described about cannibalism and how it's not like, it just doesn't fall in the category of BSM.
Yeah. It's called vorophilia or something. And it's sexual masochism, but it's
masochism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But the difference is like whether or not they're actually down to do it. Because like cannibalism is illegal. So they can text about it, but it's the actual wanting and the keeping on persisting for it that's takes it a little bit step like further. And
also, as a Jewish person, the section about branding, tattooing, marking, shaving your head, and keeping you with me
That's
just sounds like a Holocaust victim, a slave, somebody who literally was dehumanized. That's why they did those things to them, so that people could keep beating them and not have the feeling of, I'm doing this to a human being. They don't look like a human at the end of it. These women, he doesn't view them as women.
No, not at all.
Like he doesn't have feelings for them at all.
This is a message where this message is to another person. I don't know who it is, but it shines a light on what you're saying with the narcissism. He says, new question. Have you ever seen a non-consensual person ever be broken, but then ultimately enjoy it? Or are you always dealing with the shell of a person? So his concern right now is that after breaking someone, he'll have to deal with it. Not that they'll be broken. He has to deal with it. That's an annoying thing for him to deal with. That's how I read that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also just wanted, like, the language is non-consensual. Consensual, non-consensual. Rape is a type of BDSM that, like, people participate in. It's a fantasy, whatever. Like, I get that. I get a rape fantasy where everything, like, the safe word is in play, like,
right.
You're
and
doing
you stuff beforehand.
and you discuss it before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'll move on to the other text, but a lot of these situations sound like they had like a tiny conversation and then he took it way too far and never listened to anything.
Like he loses control.
Yeah. He said this to a person. This is grooming right here. And when no one presses charges like a good slave wouldn't, then boom, no problem.
Yeah, that was alarming to read.
So
sad.
It's just like when a pedophile is grooming a child saying, oh, I want to do this stuff, but, you're going to tell someone. It's going to be bad for me or whatever. And then the kid is like, no, I won't say anything. Then, because they're fucking in it. They're manipulated. So now this person thank God this person replied, no, that doesn't work.
Right.
So there are people that he's met who have hard limits. There are women that are like all of these women that are coming out right now are incredibly brave. And must be so scared about what might happen to them.
Can't even imagine.
Like, and how little accountability he's going to be.
Oh, there's going to be like almost not. Like what
but even his wife
there's
believes them.
Right. His ex-wife believes them.
Yeah.
His ex-girlfriend, I think, believes it too.
2 of his ex-girlfriends believe him. 2 of them have both said, like, he said fucked up things to me and, like, now I'm processing it. But because of I read something recently that because they have this text exchange of, like, wanting rough sex and he has control over her and she says yes sir and all of this, that they can get away with it in court and
That's
say
what I
like,
heard too.
And just chalk it up to text and be like, well, she wanted it at the time. And like he would just get like a slap on the wrist if they're lucky.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Just to see other people defending him or even like how he's spun, like he's lost a movie deal because of this. He's supposed to star in this new movie with
J-Lo. Yeah.
J-Lo.
Yeah.
And they definitely fired him, but how he's releasing it is I'm stepping away because I don't want to leave my family like in a time of need or whatever, like,
which is also crazy because that's been disproven. Like he just recently he has a Finsta and on his Finsta, he shows him like drunk as fuck and like hanging out with like some new girl. And like she's on the bed waiting for him in lingerie and like, talking about like being on hallucinogens or whatever.
Oh, right. And how he passed the drug test that, yeah. So
there's tons of evidence that says he's not even near the kids.
Yeah.
Like that Elizabeth has them and he's not going to get near them.
But also, why isn't Lionsgate being like, we fired your ass?
That's what I said. That's what I said on like a thread of mine. This is it, how it's frustrating is that they're giving him a scapegoat.
Yeah. And making it able, like, I just can't imagine coming out and saying what happened to you and then being met with fucking no support. Like, even I feel like we haven't offered enough because I just couldn't stomach these for a few days. Like, not enough people are talking about it. And the people who are talking about it aren't talking about it in a serious enough way. It's like, ooh, he's a freak. Ooh, he's kinky. It's no,
it's more than that.
No, it's way more serious.
Just a little 10-minute snippet for you guys. But yeah, if you want to listen to that whole episode, go to patreon.com/howcome. And also, yeah, read that article by E.J. Dixon. We will attach it below. And watch the movie again. Can't wait to see you guys back for season 4. It's going to be a fun time. We have a lot of fun stuff planned for you. Ben, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Anytime.
You want to tell everybody where they can find you on the internet?
Oh, I hope they know by now, but it's at Betty D NYC on Instagram. And yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much where you can find me.
Yeah, come follow me on Instagram too, Remy Casimir or How Come Podcast. We've been very active these days.
Yep, making some fun sketches, doing some new content pretty soon. I gotta I gotta make a few phone calls.
Yeah. All right, guys. This has been so fun to be back with you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next season on How Come. Bye.
Goodbye.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna